This is a big patch of periwinkle, lesser periwinkle, Vinca minor. You can see that there's a purple bloom over here. These all bloom at different times, and I use them to make a tincture, and I only pick them when they are blooming. So I'm going to move around this patch, and every day I pick maybe 4 to 5 flowers, and then I'll show you what I do with those. This is the amount that I collected. These are all the plants that were in bloom, and I get about this many every day. And what I'm going to do is remove the leaves that are in good shape and cut them up and toss the rest of the plant. Sometimes I take the blooms off and put them in a bowl. They're kind of pretty. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so you can see the rather small amount of leaves that I have coarsely chopped, and I'm going to be putting them into this jar at 60% alcohol. And I make these tinctures progressively because I only have 4 or 5 stems blooming a day, and I want this to be fresh. I don't want it to dry these leaves out. I don't find that very effective with this herb. So I'll be putting these into the jar, shaking it up. I have to watch for things like these leaves. You can see my fingernails are stained with turmeric. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And I don't want any of this stuff rotting, and that's what makes this, or molding, a little bit more difficult than when you just fill the jar to the top and are able to stuff the stuff in there and make sure that it's below the level of the alcohol. So I'm going to put those in there. I'll be doing that every day until I do get it up to the top. I haven't had any issues with rotting, but I just have to watch it and make sure those leaves are all underneath the level. And it will get much stronger. You can see that there's quite a bit of alcohol and water in there. I want a higher ratio of plant matter to alcohol when I'm all finished. Okay, so Vinca. Vinca is actually one of the more powerful herbs that people use, and you don't see a lot of stuff about it. Like, it doesn't seem very common in the US, but in the UK it's and most of Europe it's pretty common in the sense that Vincamine, which is one of the 50 indole alkaloids that is in Vinca minor, is prescribed to people. Now in the US it's sold as a supplement, a neurotropic actually, but Vincamine is sold to people with cerebral disorders, is prescribed rather, like dementia. Vincamine is also the precursor to the synthetic compound Vinpocetine. I will put some information about all this down in the description. Both Vincamine and Vinpocetine are prescribed for the same purposes. I actually don't take this for cerebral function, but it is sold as a nootropic in the US for that purpose. It increases circulation in the brain. I use it. I think people who have seen my videos know that I'm pretty into sedative herbs. And last year, I have some information in one of my videos about some of the herbs that I use for relaxation. I found actually hit the benzodiazepine receptors on the GABA, and that's why they're sedating. Valerian and skullcap both will relax your whole body. They're great muscle relaxants, and they'll help you sleep. They help me with pain as well. They're both pretty powerful pain relievers. I find they get potentiated by Vinca. So I mix my Vinca tincture with my skullcap tincture when I take them. Sometimes I mix it with this valerian extract that I make. That's what I use it for, but a lot of people use it on a daily basis to improve their memory, their cognition, just their brain function overall. Okay, I also wanted to share with you a new tincture that I've been using that I'm so impressed by, and that is this fresh turmeric root tincture. I actually got organic root at, I think it was Whole Foods. It might have been Fresh Market. At any rate, I'm using the ratio method for this. This tincture, the Vinca, that's considered the folk method. because you don't know how much of you're not measuring the amount of material and menstruum that you're using. So with this, you can see that I have a label, and that's 1 part turmeric root to 2 parts of my menstruum, which is 75% alcohol. You can see the date that I made it last year, and actually I didn't strain it. I get lazy. I didn't strain it until a couple weeks ago when I wanted to use it. And I've used 3 ounces of the root. So if I use 3 ounces of the root by weight, then that means I used 6 ounces of 75% alcohol by weight. And I do that using Everclear and diluting it with distilled water. Okay, I'm super impressed with the anti-inflammatory abilities of this tincture. I have taken turmeric root tincture, but it was made by the folk method. I've never been this specific, and I actually had to, of course, grind that whole root even though it was wet. I had to grind it in a grinder that I have in order to get the particle size small enough that 2 parts alcohol would actually cover all of it. I have a herniated disc. I've been having problems with sciatica, has been coming on recently. I have exercises for that, and I mean, I can get it under control, the inflammation, if I take a couple ibuprofen every 4 hours, but that's not particularly healthy, and I don't like doing it, and sometimes I like to drink alcohol, and I don't want to take ibuprofen with alcohol, or the day after having drank alcohol. I took 2 milliliters of this, I don't know, every 6 hours for 2 days, and it knocked my sciatica out. That just doesn't happen. Once the sciatica kicks in, it's really hard for me to shake. Now, I'm going to have to keep experimenting with this stuff. I guess it could have been a fluke. But I was just amazed. And I'm going to keep using it. So, that's just a little information. Thanks for watching.